And we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 78 of of the Tiki Taka Podcast. I almost said PT Footy Podcast. I don't know why. It's been ages since we switched the name, but anyway, it is what it is. I'm your host, Peter, and today I'm joined by Cynthia, as always.
Hi.
Bruno.
How's everything going, everybody?
And Steph, who currently isn't here because he got busy doing some random stuff, but he'll be here. Don't worry about that. All right. So we got a lot to get to. I mean, mostly Benfica stuff. We got a lot of Benfica stuff to go through, but we also, got Porto, we got Sporting, we got Taça, we got Campeonato, we got Taça da Liga. That's a lot of stuff to talk about. Anyway, we're going to start off with Benfica against Rio Ave. I'm going to give you the lineups. So Benfica lost the game 3-2, by the way. All right, so we had Bruno Varela, Luizão, André Almeida, Jardel, Grimaldo, Salvio, Feza, Krovinovic, Zivkovic, Jonas. There we go. I think that's it. Anyway, so it's harder to get the lineup from here because they're doing by number and it get kind of messed up. Anyway, more importantly, talking about the game. Cynthia, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You're up.
Oh, God. So you're just going to yeah. Okay, next question.
Yeah, I'm going to grumpy cat. Yeah, I'm going to grumpy cat nope this the whole time.
All right, I got you. So, unlike every Benfica fan on Twitter who apparently is just a complete mastermind of everything, this game was actually good for Benfica. In the first half, it was really good. I mean, Benfica could have scored more than 2 goals, actually, in the first half. But, unfortunately for us, we couldn't score more than 1 goal. And then Rio Ave get a goal from a mistake. But, I mean, it's football. It happens, It's not like it's a massive deal. And they're back in it. But then Benfica just didn't do anything, though. After they conceded the goal, it was pretty much Rio Ave, and their second goal comes from a very good play by Ruben Ribeiro, who's actually linked with Sporting. But it's one of those goals where Varela couldn't do much about it. Maybe defense was a little bit, or was under aggressive. It wasn't as aggressive as it should have been. But it's 2-1, and then Benfica just starts piling up the pressure a bit more. They start creating more chances. They get a penalty that Jonas misses, and that forces Rui Vitória to make the third substitution by taking off, I believe it was Grimaldo for Seferovic. Which, by the way, at the time I thought it was kind of dumb because I would have kept Grimaldo in instead of Luizão because I would have subbed Luizão off me as he's the oldest guy on the damn field. And, you could be looking at some extra time. But anyway, Benfica continues to pile up the pressure. Luizão gets the goal. I mean, I don't think anybody can say it was undeserved because the team played well and they were looking for that second goal. But they tied up the game. But then a couple minutes later, Luizão goes down. He's hurt. He has to leave the game. And that's when everything changes. I mean, I think people get stuck on what Rui Vitória says. I don't care about what Rui Vitória says. But in this game, it was actually circumstances. In others, it wasn't. But how many games are you going to play with Salvio and Zivkovic as your fullbacks, as André Almeida as your center back, with Seferovic, Jonas, and Raul as your 3 forwards? I mean, that's how many times is that going to happen? And obviously, Rio Ave being a good team, which people seem to forget, they're actually a good side. They ended up taking advantage really early on when it was Seferovic trying to defend like a winger, helping out the left back because he was helping out Zivkovic. He doesn't get into the line in time, so he's putting Guedes on side, who just taps in an easy goal. But, I mean, Benfica ends up losing this game, but I don't think they deserved it. I think it should have gone our way. But, I mean, I wasn't as annoyed at the team as, for example, like I am today because of the game against Portimonense, because this game were completely different circumstances. I mean, it's not every goddamn game that you're going to see Zivkovic and Salvio as your fullbacks. I mean, and André Almeida playing as a center back. I mean, obviously, things aren't going to work out as well. And Seferovic had a good shot. That was a very good save by Kazi, who had a very big game. But I mean, Benfica was still in it, even despite everything that was happening to them. I mean, we just didn't end up getting the score. I think a lot of people were upset at the team. Obviously, nothing's ever perfect. Obviously, they did bad things, but to say that that they blew the game or something like that is just not true, because this team actually did pretty much everything they could have to win. Just the circumstances basically diminished our chances a lot. I don't know. Cynthia, do you want to add anything?
No, you're completely right. You were super upset that day, I remember, and it was because Twitter just blew up as per usual. But no, it's sometimes you can kick the ball as much as you want at the net, and sometimes it doesn't go in, right? So, yes, there were things that we could have done better, but on the whole, yeah. Like, what are you going to do? You can't win every freaking game as much as we want to, and as much as everybody says polvo, we don't win all the games, obviously. So.
Yeah, and Rio Ave, who actually didn't have one of their best games, were super efficient. I think they had basically the two shots in the 90 minutes, and they scored both times. I mean, those are things that you can't change.
And we've said this before on past pods, and we're not the only people to say it. When you play against the big three, you play as well as you damn well can, because it could be a bigger payday for you, right? So. There are scouts at all the games for the big three. We know these things. And even if there aren't scouts, you're playing the bigger three. Maybe the bigger three will take you. You know what I mean? So players I've said it before. I remember I was on Twitter a few times during Benfica Pod, and Alfie said it out loud once. And I was like, yeah, because I've said for years, if these little teams played every game the way they play against like Benfica and Porto, it would be a different league. Mm-hmm. But they don't. When I watch them play each other, sometimes it's just sloppy and like physical. But then when they play us, they need to step it up, right? So it's different. And so when they play us, we need to be on our best. If we're not, they can take advantage. And even if we do our best, I mean, we lost Louison right at the end, and then obviously we're down a man. You can't fix that. We're out. You know.
No, I mean, yeah, you gotta play with Seferovic in one wing, and Raul on another, and with Jonas in the middle, and you still gotta deal with Zivkovic and Salvi as your fullbacks, and even worse, you have Andre Almeida as a center back. I mean, how many times are you gonna see something like that, right?
Hopefully not many.
Hopefully not many. Yeah.
Hopefully not many.
I don't know, Bruno, you're the Portista. I don't know if you have like a different point of view.
Oh my God! What do we want to ask him? Do we want to ask him?
I want to know.
My fans want to hear me.
Your haters, you mean?
Your fans. Oh,
I call them my fans.
Yeah, sure. Right. All right, tell us your take on it, Crazy Pants.
Well, I mean, listen, Benfica played good just as much as Rio Ave did in the first half. Did Benfica play slightly better? Yeah, they played slightly better. Rio Ave is a very strong team at home. They have quality players. I think if they had a premier striker, this is a team that probably could be competing for a top 3 spot. I'm not saying the number 1 spot, but a top 3 spot. If they had a premier striker, because defensively they're solid. They have a good experienced goalkeeper, midfielder. Midfield-wise, they have a lot of options, midfield and wingers, and then they're just missing the premier striker. Benfica in the second half, I think they went up and they kind of got sloppy. They're like, all right, we got this. We won. Rio Ave's not going to score. And then eventually they scored 2 quick goals. And Benfica didn't really have an idea what the hell was going on. Let's also not forget that there was a penalty not called in favor of Rio Ave. We want to make sure that we mention that. And there been a red card on Bruno Varela. Let's also not forget that. That was not called. I forget who the referee was.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on and also say to not forget that Marcelo should have been sent off, relatively early on too. But anyway, I think that it's.
I don't remember.
I know what you're trying to get at, but that's sorry.
But and then at the end of the day, once ET went down with an injury, I never thought that. I thought this game was going to go into penalties. I really did. But Riwav was able to pull out the win. It was a very important win for them. Um, we have to say that Benfica once their backs were against the wall, they got a goal and uh, they got a goal. I don't know if it is it deserving. Perhaps Riwav could have scored maybe one or two more times. They just couldn't. Again, they couldn't capitalize on their opportunities. The second goal, the Ruben Ribeiro goal,
Hmm.
that if I was a Benfica fan, I'd be highly upset with the four guys just watching the guy dribble through and
Hmm.
taking a shot far post and in. I think at the end of the day, it was a justified win by Riwav. They scored more goals. When you score more goals than the opponent, um, and you don't capitalize on the chances that you have, maybe you didn't deserve to win the game.
Hmm. All right, thanks for that. Also, one last thing that I want to point out, and it's for everybody on Twitter that's just pissing me off with the Seferovic hate. Listen, he's not. First of all, he's a good striker. I personally like him, but he's not premier. He's not absolutely terrific. He's not a world beater, and you ask him to make decisions that he's not used to making. You know, mostly winger type decisions like whether to shoot or to pass. Honestly, in some situations, he screwed up. But I mean, we also got to realize that take everything into account, the pressure of the game, the position that he was playing. And, Raul didn't have a good game either, but I don't see anybody trashing on Raul. But everybody seems to hate Seferovic for some reason. I just wanted to point that out. He actually had like the Benfica's biggest chance, which was a very, very big save by Casio in extra time. So, I mean, people seem to forget that. All right, let's move on to your precious Porto that managed to beat Guimarães. I forgot what was the scoreline. I think I told you before. It was 4-0. All right, so Porto, and again, bear with me because this thing's a little bit screwed up with the numbers. But Porto played. I'm just going to say the players. I'm not even going by position at this point. So Danilo, Corona, Reyes, Abubakar, Herrera, Marega, Marcano, Casillas, and Maxi Pereira. Yeah, Ricardo Pereira and Alex Telles as well. So there you go. That was Porto's lineup. Bruno, what did you think about this game by Porto?
I mean, I mean, Porto was Porto, especially at home, high pressure. They wanted to force Vitória de Guimarães into mistakes early on. They wanted to force turnovers in their midfield, which they did. They wanted to play far furthest away from their goal, and they succeeded. The first goal was a penalty. Was it kind of soft? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you can't be playing handball in the box. Was it deliberate or not? Well, this is what we've talked about on the podcast before. Was it intentional? Was it not intentional? It depends on how the referee interprets it.
To me, that's
The
totally
ball was
not
getting
intentional, but
the the ball was getting away from the defender, and with his hand he changes the trajectory of the ball, and he didn't allow the ball to get to Abubakar perhaps, and he called a penalty. Was it a soft penalty? Yes, but nevertheless it was a penalty. Um, and then after that, I think once the first goal went in, Guimarães was kind of stunned, and then they started to open up a little bit, and then Porto put a couple of more in, and they really had no other chance after that. Abubakar, I think, finished with a hat trick, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
Um, that was a good game for him. He was a man of the match. I think Porto right now, against one of the better teams in the league, trashed them pretty good. 4-0.
I don't know if I
Guimarães,
would have if I would say that, but
what do you mean?
I don't feel like Guimarães has really been that good to say one of the best teams in the league.
One of the
Uh,
one of the you take away the top three, one
I
of the
mean,
better.
if you talk about historically wise, maybe, but this year I think they've been very lackluster.
Well, you take away a couple of key players from their squad, and there it is. I mean, remember that just a year ago they had Suarez and Marega as their two starting strikers, and this year they have a Rafael Martins who is not nearly scoring the goals that Suarez or Marega was scoring last season. They have Paulo Hurtado, but Porto, zeroed in on Paulo Hurtado and took him out of the game. He was a non-factor. I don't think Rafinha even played because he was injured, and that's one of their key players. Rafinha is a quality player,
Very good play.
a guy that I believe that Porto should probably work out some type of deal and trying to trade Hernani for Rafinha, because that would probably I think it would serve best for all parties if that trade was to
Thanks.
happen.
I'd take Hernani at Benfica. Thank you.
Listen, Hernani on Porto right now, he's had his chances in the preseason and in the regular season and in some cup games, and the guy he just doesn't convince. Maybe he's one of those players that he'd be very good on a Guimarães, but he doesn't have what it takes
Maybe
to play
sometimes
in the
it
big three.
depends on the coach too. I mean, look at Andre, which to me is like the biggest example. The guy is good. Like, I don't think anybody could deny the fact that he was a good player. But you took him out of Vitória's system, brought him into Porto. I mean, he was good for like the first 3 months or so, and then he just completely disappeared off the map. Would it have been the same if he would have gone to Benfica and played under Vitória's system? Maybe not, because I feel like, I don't know. Maybe players also depend on the system. Maybe that's what
I think with the whole thing with André is remember he got into a little bit of an argument with Lopetegui at the time because he was the starter when he got there, but Lopetegui started to favor someone else, and he was in good form, and he said, hey, listen, how you benching me and I'm in good form, and you're starting someone else. Well, that's a legit argument, but at the end of the day, you still have to respect the coach's options. I mean, after him, after Lopetegui, Nuno came in, and even with Conceição, but I mean, it's hard to argue with Conceição because right now the team is playing well. I mean, this is the best Herrera I've ever seen on Porto, and I think
very much due to the system.
Perhaps, maybe it is, but I would like to see more of Andre, here and there, because he is a quality player, like you said. I mean, but listen, he's also 28 years old. He's a guy that maybe he understands what his role is on Porto, which is a guy he's a role player. He's a guy that comes off the bench, and starts a couple of cup games, and he's a role player. That's what he is. He's a utility player.
Right. Fair point. I don't know if Cynthia wants to weigh in on this at all. I mean, I didn't watch the game, as y'all know, so I don't know if you have anything to add to what Bruno said.
No, unfortunately, he was spot on as soon as he started talking about Porto. We're Porto at home. 4-0. It was awesome to watch as a non-Porto. Not really. I hated every goddamn second of it.
Oh, those DMs are going off right about now.
I don't want to talk about my freaking DMs. You need to get Twitter so people can hate you in your own DMs.
Yeah, that would be really good, though. It would. I want to get on the point that, guys, if you're listening to us live, you can go on Twitter and vote in our polls. I just posted 2 of them. One was asking if Benfica deserved to win against Rio Ave. No, he's winning 64%. And I asked about the penalty awarded to Porto against Guimarães, if it was a penalty, and 3 votes, I'll know. So anyway, join in the conversation. Send in questions as well if you want. Anyway, we're going to move on unless you have anything else to say about this game.
No, I mean, it was a good game for Boubacar. Again, scoring goals is always good to lift the confidence of the player, and right now, then it rolled into this weekend's game, which I'll let you kick off.
Yeah, I just want to ask if Steph is around. I don't know if he's back yet or not. I just wanted to double check on him.
No, it doesn't seem like he's around.
Yeah. He ain't. So does anybody want to take the Vila Verdense game? I mean, since he isn't here and they're probably not going to return to it.
Honestly, I didn't watch the game. I saw the highlights. I mean, it was typical. Yeah, It was a game in which Sporting rotated a lot of underutilized players. They didn't play very well in the first half. It took them a while to get going. Second
They needed
half,
Gelson. They needed Gelson. As soon as Gelson came into the team, everything changed.
yeah, obviously you can see the difference of the quality of player that Jelson is versus everybody else on Villa Verdense. Again, the one thing I don't understand as a player is, okay, this is my opportunity to show the coach that I deserve more minutes. I have to go, I have to perform today, and they don't perform. Well, if you don't perform in a cup game against a team from the lower divisions, then you don't deserve to be starting or playing in games against the first division or European squads. So, again, those Sporting players, I don't understand what their mentality is on a lot of them. Um, but at the end of the day, they still have to come out and they have to perform because that is why they are getting paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to always leave a word of encouragement. I thought Vilverdense had a good game, though. I mean, given everything that they own, and compare them to Sporting, even to Sporting's weakest side, probably, they still did a very good job. But they were good, but I mean, at one point, it's like what you expect in a cup game, right? You get to a point where they just start raining goals, and you're like, oh, okay, this is gonna be
Yeah,
like 4-0, but. I mean,
after the second goal, I mean, you can pretty much say that the game was over.
yeah. All right. So let's move on to the league games then.
Tondela Benfica, right?
Benfica comes first, I think. Yeah. So Tondela Benfica. So Benfica won this game 5-1. PZ scored twice. Jonas scored twice. Salvio scored once. The lineup was the following: Bruno Varela in goal, André Almeida, Lisandro Lopes in for Jardel. For Luizão, Jardel, and Alex Grimaldo across the back. There we go. Midfield trio of Pizzi, Feza, and Kravinovic. Servi, Jonas, and Salvio up front. Cynthia, do you want to take this game for me, or you want me to go ahead first as well?
No, you're up again. I'm in a mood.
Okay,
I'm in a mood. I watched the game right before the pod, right? The Benfica today, so I'm in a mood. So go ahead.
I mean, we all watched that game before the pod, but anyway, that's the point.
Maybe not Bruno. Bruno was at work. I don't think he gives a shit to watch Benfica.
Yeah,
I actually had it on for a little bit.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I would have done the same if I was at work bored. So I don't know. Maybe had time. Anyway, so I didn't catch the first 10 minutes of the game as I was out, but I listened to it on the radio. Anyway, it looked like Benfica started strong, and then I tuned in, and I felt like it was a little bit of a slow game. There wasn't really much happening, but Benfica was kind of dominating the game. They were at least playing some attacking football and making some interesting plays. And, eventually one cross gets over hit, but it goes straight to Pizzi, which actually scores a very good goal. Don't want to jinx it, but, even after this Portimonense game, I think Pizzi's kind of regaining his form. I think he's playing a little bit better every game. Scoring twice isn't, a coincidence. He had a very good game. So hopefully that continues. Jonas was Jonas, really solid. Knocked in his goals, and Salvio had a good game as well. Salvio's kind of interesting, even though I told him to get the fuck out of my club today. He's an interesting player.
You best hide from Maz.
I don't remember what I said. It was like, I'm so sick of Salvio. Because Benfica has a chance in the 95th minute, and he could shoot the ball, he could pass it to the side, and he decides to give it to Almeida, who's 5 miles behind him. Which was one of the most horrific decisions because that was the final play in the game. But anyway, everybody else played well. Servi had a good game. Kravinovic continues to establish himself as a star. And everybody else had a solid game. I don't really think there's too much into this. I'm glad Almeida got subbed off, because that way he can play against Sporting. I don't know. This team was clicking on all cylinders in this game against Tondela. I couldn't really pay attention much attention to the second half, but I was looking at it and I just saw Benfica dominating. I don't know, Cynthia, if there's anyone you want to point out or anything you want to say about this game.
I don't really want to point anybody out, but no, you're right. We're playing to our potential. You know what I mean? And I think this is why everyone's getting upset with all the other games because, you click, and this is the 5-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, why does the one have to happen? Why do we keep Oh, Jesus. I'm in a mood with Benfica right now.
I don't even remember how we could. Oh, right, it was like 4-1, and then we scored a fifth one. I can't even remember. See,
Mhm.
that goal just flies by. I just don't even think about it. But I don't
Well, it
think
flies
Varela
by
had
for
anything
you,
to
but
do with
then
it.
it's on it's on the paperwork. You know what I mean? Like Varela, no, but I mean our defenders. You know, like Bruno mentioned in the previous game, our guys just stood there and watched. Like, what are we doing, man? So, no, they were playing better, but again, Tondela is also Tondela, and that's not a jab. It's just they're smaller. They're not one of the big three, and
I know, but
we did.
I want to get into that doing this game so bad because it's
Do
just
you
it's
really,
stupid. Yeah,
really?
no, because it's stupid. Because just think about this.
Okay.
Portimonense played. I think it was basically 9 or 8 players that are substitutes. They're not starters. You can tell me that they are better than Tondela, and you managed to beat Tondela 5-1 for the league, which is the most important competition. But you can't beat Portimonense second side. I mean, it's just stupid.
That's
Peter,
what I'm saying.
I think you guys are also overlooking something about Tondela.
Hmm.
What?
They didn't
What?
come. They didn't play. Tondela didn't play. Like I see what the Benfiquistas are all talking about. Oh, well, yeah, we looked awesome. We scored 5 goals. You didn't play against Tondela. Tondela was the team that was on the field, but that wasn't Tondela. You look at
For
the
you,
team; they
Frederick.
average 19 fouls a game. They played against Porto very aggressive. They had 22 fouls against Porto. They had 21 fouls against Sporting, and they hit a miraculous eight, eight, 8 fouls against Benfica. You talking about
Just eight? Are you sure? You said it three
eight? It was
times. Are
eight.
you
It was
sure?
8 fouls. It was 8 fouls. You talking about a team that just absolutely they quit from the start. Let's not also forget that the president from Tondela is a Benfiquista. He
Ai, meu
assumed
Deus, it's polvo. It's polvo, guys. Guys,
well,
it's
hey,
polvo.
the
Freak.
4 coaches that you've ever
I'm not
had
gonna
in the
get
first
into it.
division, the 4 coaches that you've had are Benfica, ex Benfica players. I never saw Pipa, who every time he loses against Porto or against Sporting, he always has something to say about the officiating. He says nothing about the
I
officiating
mean,
in this
how
game.
what can he say about the officiating when he
There was
was
a
five
penalty.
one?
There was a penalty in Tondela's favor when it
No, there
was two
wasn't.
zero.
It
Yes, there
was.
was.
It wasn't not. It was
There
not
was
a
a penalty.
penalty.
There was a penalty. There was a penalty on Tondela. I
It
mean,
was not a
in favor of
penalty.
Tondela. Yes, it was. It's I forget who it was. The guy clips. I think his name is Martins or Andrade. I forget what his name is, but he was prevented
It's not
from playing the
relevant.
ball. 2-0 is irrelevant.
I know. I'm talking about the name. I'm just thinking about the play. I don't think it's a penalty. Anyway, moving on.
Well, I mean, when Rui Gosmes da Silva on Udias Hint admits that's a penalty, and that's a guy that never says there's a
I
penalty
know who
against
he
his team,
is.
you can see that how much of a penalty it is. But
Maybe
going
maybe at
forward,
game time I didn't pay too much attention to it. If it was in the second half, I probably didn't pay too much attention to it. So I replayed and didn't think it was a penalty.
Tondela just didn't come out and play. Let's be honest. That wasn't the Tondela that normally plays in the league. If Cynthia wants to say Polvo, if she wants to imply it's Polvo, maybe it is. Maybe we will
I was
find
I
out.
was getting you the word. You seem to be lost for the word.
No, no.
Uh,
Well, listen. There's going to be.
all right, but Brun. I mean, just to counter your argument a little bit. Besides this Tondela game, there were other games where Benfica clicked and played well. I mean, the first one that comes to mind right now is the Guimarães one where we beat them 3-1. And I mean, I don't think people can assume Povo or anything like that. So if you can beat the good Guimarães side, which you said was one of the best teams in the league, despite everything that's happened to them, why can't you beat Portimonense's subs like reserves? You're playing
That I
against the
agree.
reserves.
That I mean I agree with you 100%. But let's also forget this is what the Portimonense backups did. They did what I just talked about. They said, "All right, I'm getting my opportunity, and I want to make a name for myself. I want to show the coach that I deserve more minutes.
Get
I
more
haven't
playing
been
time.
playing a lot. Yeah, I haven't been playing
Right,
a
but
lot.
I get your point. I agree with it, but at the same time, if you were playing their starters, so does that mean that their starters just didn't care enough about the game, and once they were
Well,
2-0 up, they didn't?
you
Well,
got
that's another
to
comment, isn't it?
Peter. You got to also understand, these guys are they get paid much more than the Portimonense backups. Okay, and they're like, oh, they're gonna play their backups. So motivational purposes, their head wasn't in the game. They were like, oh, they're gonna play their backups. We should beat them, no problem. We should beat them. We didn't beat them. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem with a lot of the when you see Utumba Gigants Natasa, that's what happens. Oh, we should beat this team. Yeah, you should beat them theoretically on paper. You should thrash them. But the problem is when they actually play to their fullest potential, and you don't play to your fullest potential, and you get beat. Because Portimonense, as much as we want to analyze them, they still are professional players. These guys train every day just as much as Sporting Benfica train. Yes, they lack some quality, but they still go out and they train hard and they work hard. They worked hard today. They earned 1 point. They put Benfica in a major scenario where they can get knocked out of the Taça de Liga on Friday if Stubble wins.
Don't
correct?
say it's so happy.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if Stubble plays at home against Braga or away against Braga, but if they beat Braga on Friday, Benfica's mathematically eliminated from the Taça da Liga as well.
Bye. This is
Go
all.
on, Cynthia.
Ay. What do you mean, thank God? I'm going to fight with you, Peter.
At point, why would I wait another week or another few days to find out I'm not even going to be in the competition? I'd rather just, even though I think Benfica plays on Friday, so you kind of don't have to wait. But anyway, whatever.
You guys
I
play on
think
Friday as well? No, it can't be Friday.
No, maybe that's next week. We
no, it's the week after. The week,
no?
yeah,
No, it's
the week after. Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
But you might be playing for.
Wouldn't make any
But you
sense.
might be playing for nothing.
I know that's why I'd rather
Those are
prefer.
the
I'd rather
best.
play for
Great.
nothing than to try and get a result that I know I'm not going to get.
Hey, I'm back.
All right. Hey,
Yay! Bruno's
Hey,
an awful, Steph.
trying to get back on point.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, I'm
Don't
kidding.
worry about
Bruno's
it.
been
We did the Villa Verdes game for you, but I think we covered that really well, so you don't have to worry about it. So we were just talking about the Tondela game, and we kind of shifted off to Portimonense just like that. But anyway, back on track. Bruno, we were just talking about, they weren't really Tondela and.
No, they weren't really Tondela. I mean, Tondela just did not look aggressive like they normally do because they are an aggressive side. I mean, they have some aggressive players in the midfield and in the back, and they were very passive in that game. Their coach even said that they weren't aggressive at all. I think he was very comfortable admitting that they only had 8 fouls throughout the whole game when they average 18. Throughout the season. By the way, they're the most team. The team that fouls the most in the league is Tondela, on average. So when you go from 18 to 8, that's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. All right. You're done with your comment, just so I can ask Steph what he thought.
Yeah, no, you can ask Steph. Go ahead, get Steph involved. So no one's
Steph, I don't know if you watched the Benfica Tondela game, but I'm going to ask you anyway if you have any comments about it.
The game against Tondela, I feel that Tondela could have done a lot more. I've seen them play better. For some reason, against Benfica, they were light on their feet, not aggressive.
Lighter. Hold on a second, Steph. Were they light on their feet or did they open their legs?
Well, that.
Hey.
I thought we weren't going to be talking about Belenenses and
You're going to get my DMs ruined. Shut up, Bruno.
You could say it that way. I say it a nicer way. So, Tondela for me against Benfica didn't play 100%. The red card didn't help Tondela either, but they could have played better. I've seen them play better. I'm not saying that everybody was pernas, but people are flirting with that idea. Not only Portistas, but even on social media, Sportingistas too. The most aggressive ones, they're flirting with that idea. What's going on? Why is Tondela so nice to Benfica? I would like to think that Benfica had a great game and played better than Tondela, but some plays were questionable. The lack of aggressiveness from the defense and midfield. But you know what? At the end of the day, Benfica won 5-1, and then that's it.
All right. I just want to ask you about the play because Bruno brought it up. Do you think there's a penalty in Tondela's favor?
Which play is that?
Ask Bruno. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the one that I don't know if the guy's name is Martins or Andrade. Dark-skinned guy tries to play the ball on a cross from the right side, and he gets dragged down from behind. I can't remember by who. I don't know if it was Luizão or I honestly can't remember who it was.
Luizão wasn't on the field.
He didn't play. Okay, so I don't remember what was it.
It was Luizão.
Lisandro, was it Lopez?
Yeah, probably.
Was it Lopez?
Maybe.
For your twin brother.
I don't remember who it was. It was somebody. They got dragged down, and like I told Peter, and in the podcast, when Rui Gosmas da Silva says it's a penalty, I don't think I have to argue much more after that.
No, I don't remember the play at all, to tell the truth. I mean, at one point I gave up watching Benfica when they were quando estavam a espetar uma goleada ao Tondela. I went back to watching National Geography. Seriously,
I am stuck watching Sporting between 5-0.
I had no interest to watch Benfica. I was watching the last Wales in danger. I gave up on Benfica.
It's more important than Benfica, of course.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when it doesn't appeal to me like Sporting now is winning 5-0.
5-0, yeah.
Oh, Steph. There's plenty of Wales. There's plenty of Wales walking around here. Don't worry about it. They're not in danger.
You're just not nice.
Just make that see.
Yeah, he did because he's terrible. My goddamn DMs, Bruno. No respect.
Yeah, he is terrible.
We got.
I'm not
so here's
Get
the thing.
your own Twitter.
We're gonna make him a Twitter account and just say, hey, if you want to direct hate towards Bruno, just add that account. That's
exactly. Hate on Bruno.
I was not talking about Wales that eat McDonald's, bro. I was talking about real Wales.
Well, that's what he brought up.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're so worried about these endangered whales, there's plenty of them walking around. Don't worry about it.
All right. Eu estou a falar do animal mamífero, caralho. Do animal.
Tá bom. Os que vão para o oceano.
That's a good goal.
Tá bom.
Shit.
Oh my God. Half my DMs are you're a stubborn ass, and this is exactly what they're talking about.
Y'all just talk about shit while I just see your great goal. Just talk about your Davis goal and move on.
Okay, listen. Are we done with Tondela game and Benfica game because that game was not interesting?
Yeah, we're done. You can move on to Sporting now, right?
Oh, you guys haven't spoken about Sporting? Oh, that's
we're doing it by chronological order.
Yeah.
We did a Vila Verdense, pá. Não te preocupes.
Vila Verdense.
So now you gotta talk the game against.
We talked about it. Foi roubo do caralho and Sporting won because do árbitro.
That was exactly what we said.
No, that's fine. We still won. I don't care.
We're messing with you. We basically said that Sporting had a very poor first half. They needed Gelson to come in and change the team, and that Vila Verdense, did what small teams do. They played kind of well, but once they start conceding, 2 goals, that's it. That's done for them, and here comes the goleada. That's
you know what? Hey, that was a good assessment. You didn't need me for that. You see, good job, guys. Yeah.
Great.
All right, so now you can talk about Sporting Portimonense.
So you gave the lineup and everything.
No, we didn't. We went straight to Benfica, and because we skipped over Sporting.
Okay, so basically the lineup for Sporting for that game was Rui Patrício goalie, Cristiano Piccini on the right side, Jeremy Mathieu, El Patron Coates, Fábio Coentrão on the left fullback, Podesc, William Carvalho, Bruno Fernandes, Cunha, Gelson Martins, and Bas Dost. So basically, Sporting dominated the whole game. It's for the first time in a while, as a Sportingista fan, I could actually enjoy the game and not having a stroke or a heart attack. They dominated. exception for minute 34 when Nakajima on a one-on-one with Rui Patricio. He missed that goal. It would have been 1-1. It would have been a different game. I agree. But it didn't happen. That's good. That's good that he missed a goal. So overall, I don't want to take too much time on this. Sporting was really they pulled out a really great performance. Bruno Fernandes scored in minute ninth with an excellent pass by Podes, and then we had Bas Dos scoring at minute 60, making it 2-0. And I never saw Sporting freak it out. They kept the composure, and and that's because of the full blown rotation that we were allowed to have against the Cavernese, because I mean it's a third division team, so the B squad was good enough. The players with less minutes, and that paid off. Everyone had fresh legs. Everyone ran the full 90 minutes. So Sporting looked just amazing against Portimonense. And today, actually, we winning 6-0 for Taça da Liga against União de Madeira. But we actually playing with the A squad with os titulares. But there's a reason why. It's because it's a big break in between, and then our next game is against Benfica. So we don't want the team to lose the rhythm of it.
Wait, is this your third game?
What do you mean third game?
It can't be your third game in the Taça da Liga, bro. You still
No,
gotta get another one.
I didn't say the third game. I said second.
Because you said there's a big
gap
break
in between.
until the yeah. So.
Yeah. So we're playing on the 29th against Belenenses, and then on the 3rd, Benfica. So then, we have no games over the weekend now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got you. I got what you mean now.
So, se os jogadores titulares não jogarem, perdem o ritmo. So that's why you might see Porto tomorrow playing with the A squad as well, like Benfica did today, because you don't want your players to lose the rhythm. Because doing scrimmage games or practice is different than playing a real game. In regards to Portimonense, we played great. That was the most comfortable game I ever seen. I didn't see too many. I didn't like the red card against Emmanuel Akman. Akman. I think the first yellow was kind of forced. The second one was a good one. He stepped on his chin and foot.
That's funny. That's funny because I was listening to the game on the radio because I was making my way back home, and the guys were actually saying that that the second yellow on itself would deserve to be a red card.
Yes, indeed. He'll push his pitons on his chin and foot. He dragged it like for a nice 6 inches. But the first yellow card was a little bit too extreme. I mean, it's a physical game. They have to stop showing so many yellow cards in Portugal. It's becoming ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of a big team like Sporting or Porto Benfica always playing against 10. It's not good at all. We are already better than them, and then when the referee is he's really quick in whistling those calls against the big teams, I fucking hate it. I got to tell the truth. I give Bruno a hard time all the time about that when it's Porto, and I'm giving myself a hard time because, I didn't think he deserved that first yellow card. But besides that, good game by Sporting, and if we keep playing this way, I just hope we keep the same performance against Benfica in Estádio da Luz, which will be a crucial game for Benfica and for Sporting. And that's it.
All right. I don't know if Bruno wants to say anything about the game. Let me wait until he unmutes his microphone so he can speak.
Yes, foi embora.
No, the Portimonense game, I mean, listen, Portimonense didn't come to play. That was it. This was a game in which even the coach was like, he was very disappointed in his players. And, as a coach myself, when you have a specific expectation of your players to perform and you don't perform, it's very gut wrenching, and you know what? Again, I think this is again a good segue for today's game. A lot of those Portimonense players, they have to be like, all right, we're getting our chance. A lot of guys, and excuse the term, but shit the bed. They shit the bed against Sporting over the weekend. This is my turn to shine, and they did. And you know what? Maybe next week these guys are going to start. There's going to be some changes in the lineup because the Oliveira did say that they're not in good form at the moment, and maybe it has a lot to do with a lot of players that maybe they're just getting too comfortable because they know week in and week out I'm starting no matter what.
Yeah, that could be it. Complacency, yeah.
All right. So I guess that we can move on, and talk about Marítimo then, and then we'll circle back to Benfica. Portimonense, and I don't know if Steph is going to end up wanting to say a few words about Sporting União da Madeira. Currently 6-0, 88 minutes in. All right. So let's talk Porto Marítimo. So Porto beat Marítimo 3-1. Very one-sided game. Anyway, getting back to the point. So Jessá was in goal. Maxi, Diego Reyes, Marcano, and Alex Telles across the back, with Ricardo Pereira, Herrera, Danilo, Brahimi, Marega, and Abubakar up front. I want to start with a different question. Instead of asking you what you think about the game, because obviously you're going to get to that, but what do you think about these subtle change that we've been seeing for a few games now? The ability to have Ricardo and Maxi both on the field at the same time, Bruno.
I personally don't like Maxi. I mean, I've always said it from day one that I never ever agreed with him coming to Porto. I just don't think he brings anything positive to the team. He's too slow. Even when he was on Benfica, and I'm talking about even in his quote unquote prime, I didn't think he was a good player. And I'm talking about forget about who he plays for. I'm just analyzing the player for who he is. I think he's very slow. I think he's overly aggressive. Technically, he lacks technical skill. Yeah, he's a defender in which he pounds and pounds and pounds and intimidates players. But I think that he gets very exposed when you have a very fast guy on his side, or a guy that's a lot more technical. And I just don't agree with him being the starter at the moment. I mean, we have a very good player. If you guys listen to the Three Tugas podcast, I'm very critical of the Mexican players.
Espera ahí. You said if we listen to the Three Tugas podcast when they post it, because it hasn't been posted yet.
Tudo bem, mas isso já outras contas.
I thought Steph was gonna say, "Hey, what are you doing, shouting out your own podcast in this podcast, buddy?"
no, but I mean, I've talked about it before.
We do a lot of podcasts here.
I'm very critical. I'm very critical of the Mexican players, but the one guy that I always said, well, I mean, this guy's actually he gives it his all, which is Layun, and Layun does not even get to sit the bench with Conceição. I don't know if they have some type of disagreement. I don't know if they've had some type of issues off the field, but the guy just does not get a chance to play at all, and it just amazes me because I would really like to see Layun and Ricardo Pereira on the same side attacking. So, I mean, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, what's your overall thoughts on Porto's performance?
Porto, I thought again, same typical Porto at home. High pressure, force opponents to make mistakes in their defending in middle third. Porto basically cut the field in half and kept all the pressure on Marítimo. Marítimo tried to use they used the same tactic as Aves did, which was play with three center backs. They played very defensive, very low block, as Steph likes to use that term. The very low block, very defensive, a lot of time wasting. I think their goalkeeper Charles got an early warning from the referee because he started very early with the time wasting, and then the other players were just wasting a lot of time. Porto got a goal off a set piece. Keep in mind that Porto's this season on set pieces offensively is very strong. Reyes got his first goal for Porto. And then this is where I'm very critical about Maxi Pereira. Maxi Pereira is the reason why Marítimo was able to tie the game. He never, tracked down the incoming Marítimo player, which I believe was Fabio Pacheco, correct? The one that scored the goal?
To be honest.
Yes. Fabio Pacheco.
Okay, so he never tracked him? He never tracked him. And if you watch the replay, I don't know if it was Marcano or Zessa. Somebody told Maxi to pick up Fabio Pacheco that he was coming in, and he didn't listen. And the guy just came in and first time shot and scored the goal, off a deflection off of Maxi, because he got lazy and he just didn't do what he was told to do. And then after that, I think the red card came before the Porto's second goal. Correct?
What?
Am I
I couldn't hear.
the red card came after, or came before the second goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where, again, this is me being a coach, would piss me off. All right, so Gamboa sees a yellow card, and I've already had discussions with some of my non-Porto Porto friends. They were like, "Oh, but that was a very soft yellow card." Well, how about Maritimo has possession of the ball? They have the right to kick the ball out if they wanted. They chose to continue to attack while their teammate is down on the ground. They lose the ball. Porto goes on the attack. Maritimo expects Porto to kick the ball out because now their teammate is still on the ground and he's still hurt. No, you didn't kick the ball out when you had the ball, so I'm not going to kick the ball out when I have the ball. And then Gamboa comes from the behind and challenges, I believe it was Danilo hard, and he gets his first yellow. 2 or 3 minutes later, he comes in very late. Yeah, maybe he slipped or whatever it is, but
I know something that my dad thought about the time that I think is kind of brought up was that Marega made a foul, which was a clear foul, and he got away with it with not getting a yellow when he warranted a yellow. Yet, they're so easy to jump the gun on Gamboa and give him that second yellow like he was nothing.
But hold on a second. I don't know. I don't recall the play with Marega, but let me just say this: the foul that Danilo was fouled on, the play that Danilo was fouled on, he was already going into the box. He was going to get. He was going toward the box. That is, not going into the box.
If you're talking about the first yellow, I'm not questioning the first yellow. I'm questioning more how easy it was to book him a second time. When I don't even. I mean, you can call it a foul, but
it was extremely late challenge. It was extremely late challenge.
Yeah, but then he slipped. It's just not a.
He slips. It doesn't matter if he slips or not. He hammers the guy. I mean, the guy could have been injured. I mean, did you see how he landed on his ankle? He landed hard on his ankle. I mean, the guy went immediately down. He was down for a while because there was a big scuffle, and the whole time that they were scuffling, the Porto player was still down. He needed medical attention because it was a very hard and very late challenge. I mean, listen, when you have a yellow card, and again, this is where I'm saying I'm a coach, and this is where I get on my players. You have to be very careful how you're challenging players when you have a yellow card. And it's also to prevent stuff like this. Okay, yeah, he slipped. It doesn't matter if he slipped or not. You should still be a little bit more cautious on how you're going into the play. And he challenged recklessly. He saw the second yellow, and he compromised his team and the story. I mean, and then the second goal came, and then it could have been the third and the fourth and the fifth and so on and so forth. I mean, Porto could have scored a couple of more goals in the second half. They didn't, but that's okay. 3-1 is more than enough.
All right. I don't know if anybody wants to jump on here and say something about the game.
Of course I want to jump. I was waiting with a lot of patience, with a lot of patience, pa. Okay, so, I wanted to give Bruno, is to let him speak and give his opinion, como portista y tal, y tal, y tal, y tal. So, anyway, Gamboa, after Porto's been crying all these weeks and all that, finally they're getting penalty kicks. Finally they're getting people thrown out of the game. Finally they're playing like they need to play against Maritimo against 10. Gamboa was a bullshit fucking second yellow card. I agree with Peter. A referee has to control his emotions too. I know it was a late. The first yellow card was a bullshit one. The second one was a good yellow card actually, because he did get there late. But when you give a first bullshit yellow card as a referee, and then here comes the second one, the second foul like Gamboa did, you have to take into consideration that, oh shit, that soft yellow card, I kind of messed up. You need to do an assessment if you're a good referee, and say, okay, listen, I'm going to give you just one break because I could throw you out of the game, and that's what he did, and he fucked up the whole game. From that point on, it was not a fair game whatsoever anymore. Porto is a much better team, 11 against 11. Now you're playing 11 against 10. You just made everything much easier for Football Club Porto. Didn't need that kind of favor, but of course, who's to blame? Yeah, it's the player, but the referee could have controlled it. He could have been a different. He wanted to be in the, again. Our referees love to be in the spotlight. They love to be talked about. They love it. They suck, our referees, and it just proved it on this game again. Like you said, o Porto didn't tip penalties. All of a sudden, you got two the last two games. All of a sudden, 2 yellow cards. You've been playing against 10 players for two games. So Francis J. Marques crying all the goddamn time is paying off. It is paying off for Football Club Porto. I hate to say it.
Steph,
I hate to say it.
I have to rebuttal. So I know that Sportingistas, Benfiquistas are very used to the last 4 years, which is Porto not getting penalties. Hold on. Let me hold on.
The last time
let me talk. Let me talk.
Was 15 years ago. What are you talking about? The last time. A última vez que fizeram alguma coisa há 15 anos, caralho. How can you say?
Let me talk. The last 4 years.
Oh, meu Deus.
Last 4 years, you guys are used to Porto and not getting.
Don't say you guys. We haven't won anything. Don't say you guys.
Au revoir. I'm talking. Relax. The last 4 years, you see Sporting and Lampiões saying, seeing Porto not getting penalties and red cards only until the end of the season when Porto's already out of the title race. That's when you would see all these penalties and red cards. And then you can say at the end of the season, oh, but you guys got a total of X amount of red cards and you got a total amount of X amount of penalties. But when the season mattered, we weren't getting the penalties when there was points in play. But now, with all these emails coming out, and there's a lot of people, and Mota was one of them. Mota was one of them.
I'm not talking about emails, because if we're going to go,
if
we're going to go that route.
Hold on.
If we're going to go that route, then I'm going to agree with you, because the email scandal that Benfica is involved in, it's an embarrassment not only for Benfica but for me as an immigrant, because my American friends, when they come to me and they say, "Oh, hey Steph, what's going on with Portuguese soccer? Guys are a whole bunch of corrupted." And then eles não sabem a diferença between Benfica, Sporting and Porto.
Tudo bem. I'm stating something. O Porto this year has not had any penalties until the last 2 weeks.
I just don't understand. You want penalties called if they're not penalties? Like I want penalties too. If they're not penalties, they're not going to be called. I don't understand.
Hold on, Cynthia, but they're penalties. This is the difference. They're penalties. See, for example, you know how Benfica doesn't get penalties called in Portugal, but when they go out to Europe and they get penalties all the time, almost every game, they're averaging one every game.
Okay.
This is the difference. It's the same. It's the difference. The difference is in Portugal, you get calls and you don't get calls. In Portugal, Porto has not been getting the calls. Now they're getting the calls, and now Benfica and Sporting issues are very up in arms. Okay,
but you know why I'm
I don't even care.
You know why I'm up in arms?
Me neither, Pete.
Because the referees they are afraid. We had this conversation before. The referees, they shouldn't be. These Portuguese referees under investigation shouldn't be the referees of these games.
Officiating. They shouldn't be officiating.
They shouldn't be. Because you could see the Mota estava-se a cagar nas calças no jogo do Porto Marítimo. Estava todo cagado, meu. Because he was like, olha, já me vão foder outra vez do talho. And there it is. I agree with you. The referees in Portugal, they officiating under, com medo. They're afraid. And
they got a chip on their shoulder.
It's an ugly thing in Portugal, and Peter lives in Portugal, that it's so corrupted. It's involving politicians, goddammit. Politicians, PSP, GNR. Are you kidding me? It's involving so many. I'm puzzled and confused.
Well, I mean, let's go back to the game real quick because we're getting a little sidetracked.
Okay, so let me tell you.
Look at Bruno bringing it back. Look at you.
Let me tell you. Gamboa, I don't think he should have been kicked out so fast. The referee could have managed differently that one play. So let's.
I'm going to disagree with you, Steph, because, and I'm going to
I
tell
know
you.
you would. Olha, caralho. I know you would.
Surprise.
But hold on, I'm going to disagree with you because if a player is attacking the box, I mean, he got past his marker. He got past his marker, and he's attacking
Why
the
are you
box.
talking about the first play? Are you talking about the first play again?
The first play, yeah, and the guy drags him down from behind.
The first play.
É uma falta normal, meu. Exato.
Não é falta, não é nada uma falta normal. Então ele toca,
No, it's not. It's against Porto. They get cards. We don't get cards.
Listen.
Espera aí, eu vou te fazer uma pergunta. What about minute 89? Did you see minute 89?
Oh, for Christ's sake. You guys kill me with the minute 89. Tell me what actually happened in the goddamn play.
I'm asking Bruno, because I told the minute man to go look.
Não sei, não vi.
Porra, pá. I told you 3 days ago to go look. You didn't.
Olha, não fui.
Pois não.
I didn't get a chance to see.
Não te convém. Mas anyway.
Não é convém, because I'm not like that. I go look, but if I remember. Olha, não me lembrei.
Steph, these last. Let's see the play. What's the play?
Opa, foi o Danilo deu uma castada no jogador do Marítimo e nem o yellow card levou, nem yellow, nem pink, nem azul, nem preto, nem às risquinhas, nem às bolinhas.
Okay, so it's basically the same thing that I was talking about Marega earlier on in the game.
Yeah,
anyway, I think
not even a yellow card.
We should move on, but I just want to say
we can't move on because Bruno has been in this adventure that the calls always goes for the clubs Lisboa, and he included Sporting, and that was his mistake. He shouldn't have included Sporting. So because he said, os clubes Lisboa estão mal habituados. So if you want to divide South and North, vamos a isso. Mas o Porto lately has been giving a lot of calls their way, a lot of calls. A lot.
And personally, I think the penalty against Guimarães is just a ridiculous call. Like I said before, that wasn't a penalty. I don't think that's a penalty. If you're going to start calling that a penalty every time, I don't know. I think Steph.
I agree with you. We're going to have like 20 penalties per game.
Well, that's what Porto wants, apparently, because they're not getting any.
Olha, sabes o que é que tu queres, Bruno? Tu queres os jogadores de futebol vão todos vestidos de bailarina e vamos fazer balé lá.
Não é bem assim, because I'm going to tell you. Hold on. No, but see, Steph likes to kind of also forget that he has a lot of points this year. I think it's 12 this year, or something like that, or what is it? 12, 9, something like that. 9 points from penalties.
No, we have 39 points altogether.
No. But how many points do you have accumulated from penalties?
No, I don't. But they're penalties, though.
I don't keep up with those statistics, bro. Because
but some of them are soft. No, Peter. Some of them are not soft.
I'm not saying they were not soft.
The one we passed those against Setúbal is not a penalty. But for example, the one against Feirense is a penalty, and that's totally due to the guy that kicks the motherfucker right in the foot. So I mean, if we're
but that's what I'm saying. But hold on a second. He got the call, correct?
He got the right call.
He got the right call, and did he not get points out of it?
But did
he get points out of it?
We can't complain. He got the right call. What's the point?
Okay, but he got the right call, and he got points out of it, correct?
Well, yeah, because we won the game.
So if Porto keeps getting penalties called for them and you don't win the game, are you going to be upset because you've got penalties?
Well, listen,
not getting points?
But hold on a second. But that's my argument. My argument is when we played against Aves and when we played against Benfica, there were clear penalties and they weren't called. And those could have resulted in
points. Benfica in this? What penalty? Oh, the Lisbon penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
You might disagree.
It's a penalty for you, but for me, it's not.
Now,
until it happens to you,
you're the only person in the podcast that thinks that's a penalty.
Until it happens to you, then we'll talk.
When it happens,
but it's gonna happen.
Then I'm gonna sit up and I'll move on.
It's one of those things, and to just finish off here, it's one of those things. If you didn't work hard enough and you end up getting a shady call, that doesn't go your way. You're going to be upset, but you're going to think about it, and you're going to be like, oh, man, if Shot hadn't missed that shot, or if Bas Dos would have scored on that header.
When you have a Marega missing 50 goals, what do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Blame it on the penalty.
Anyway, so moving on now. We're just going to talk about this last game. I don't know if Stefan will want to say anything about the Sporting game, but anyway, final game of today's episode is one not too happy for me, but anyway, got to talk about it. So
I'm
Benfica
happy.
Portimonense 2-2. Jonas
Surprise!
scored inside 40-something seconds, and I thought it was going to be a good game, but eventually I was wrong. Anyways, Villar was
It
in
was a
goal.
good game. It was a good game. What you
Shut
talking
up.
about?
Villar was in goal. André Almeida, Lisandro
Bruxária,
Dias, and
Steph.
Grimaldo
O
across the back.
Civilar estava a jogar
Sal-
ponta de lança?
Hold on,
I don't know
bro.
what that kid's
Calma.
doing.
Did you let me say the lineup first? At least Salvio, Zivkovic on the wings, Pizzi, Samaris, Krovinovic, and Jonas up front. All right. So listen, since Cynthia's been telling me to go first every single time, I'm not even gonna ask and just go first.
Good
on
call,
this one
buddy.
too.
Good call.
You know,
You're learning.
It was a good first half by Benfica. Took 2 goals. I kind of zoned out like 30 minutes in, but I mean until halftime. But you know, it was Benfica dominating. It was pretty much the same thing, you know. And they created chances. I mean, the first chance they created inside 50 seconds, they scored. So you know, it looked like it was going to be a good game. But then, you know, eventually the team starts slacking off a little bit too much. And then, you know, inside the first 5 minutes, Portimonense get a goal back. But even then, you know, after that goal, Benfica wasn't football. But at the same time, Portimonense wasn't like, hey, we're going to score on you or anything like that. Because they didn't have any of their really good players out. I mean, if they had Nakajima or something, I'd be scared. But he wasn't even playing. And Paulinho was subbed because he got hurt. So you know, Benfica was playing. He was playing. You know, Kiev, not right, Quanto Baixo. So they were playing good enough. And then just one thing that I thought was really stupid. I mean, I agree with most of the substitutions. I mean, you bring off Zivkovic, bring on Diogo Gonçalves, that's fine. Bring off Samaris, bring on Keith, and you know that's more than fine. One call that to me is just ridiculous was bringing off Pizzi to bring on Seferovic. Now that's never happened in like ever. He's never done that, you know, when Benfica are winning or you know when Benfica are trying to defend the result because that point I think Pizzi went off like 70 something minutes, and so you're trying to save the result. You're not going to try and score more goals because you got the game in the bag. You're playing at home. You're playing against a reserve team, right? So I thought it was stupid to bring on Seferovic or Pizzi. I would have brought on Seferovic myself, but I would have taken off Janusz because we've seen that substitution happen so many times throughout the season. So what was different this time? You know, and it was stupid because Pizzi, like I said, you know, a little bit earlier on in the podcast, I thought he's starting to get back into form a little bit. He's starting to play a little bit better, and it's starting to show. But you know that substitution just kind of ruined things a little bit because it threw the team off balance a little bit, and call where he should have shot and he passed the ball out wide. And right after that, you know, it's a corner for Portimonense. And I don't know if Villar can parry balls out to the sides. I don't know if he was taught that. And he parries the ball straight forward to a Portimonense guy. And I mean, he scores an easy goal. I mean, I'm not going to blame the defense too much on that because I don't think they have time to react to it. I'll blame Villar a lot more on that one. Which I thought was just another one of his mistakes, and Timo tweeted out. Yeah, and Timo tweeted out, and he said, "I'm starting to be wrong about Villar because he's making more mistakes than I am," and I agree with him. I mean, I thought Villar was going to be a good option, but he's making a ton of mistakes, especially in corners. Like I don't think he's not used to those plays or something because he makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, he conceded a goal. I think Benfica ended up winning that game. I think it was like 3-1 or something. I think it was actually against Aves where it's an easy ball to save. I mean, he probably could even caught it, and he lets it go in between his hands, and we concede. So it's you know Varela isn't perfect. He's made a mistake that cost us a game, but I think that Villar is making more mistakes. Yeah. He's making more mistakes than Varela, and at this point, I'd rather see Varela in goal. Which sucks because Villar looked really impressive because his mistakes against his mistakes against United happen. You know, it's one of those where you know you're young and you're brain freeze, right? Okay, it's a brain freeze. It happens. But besides that mistake, he's making other mistakes that he shouldn't make. But anyway, That's my thought on the game was that Benfica had the game in the bag. They let themselves go a little bit, but they still looked like they were going to win. The Pizzi substitution, I think, threw off the whole team. And then we concede 83 minutes in. Jesus Christ, Steph, that's bad.
Do you need
83
aqua, buddy?
minutes. You all right there?
Yeah.
All right. And, like
Get a
I was
hold.
saying, Portimonense score, and we have 10 minutes with the added time to try and get a goal. But it just wasn't going to be enough because the team just wasn't ready to try and go for another goal. All right. I don't know if anybody wants to say anything about this game. So, any takers?
Bruno.
No. Oh God, no.
Yes.
No.
Fala, meu. Queres que eu fale?
Não, pode ir, mas opa, trata essa tosse de cão.
Right?
I've been.
Go get a hose or
Yeah,
something.
I know. Well, I'm doing the podcast. What do you want me to do? Leave again?
No,
Well, no,
no.
but like you should have been prepped. Duh.
I know. But I wasn't prepped.
You got to gargle, man. Don't you gargle?
Gargle.
No, eu não tenho,
Okay, eu vou.
eu não tenho os teus hábitos. Anyway, so.
Tu querias os meus hábitos, mas não tens estofo para isso.
No,
Anyway.
I'm married with 2 kids and 2 dogs. I have no time for that shit. So the Benfica Portimonense game, to tell the truth, when Benfica scored 1-0, I'm watching the game again because it's replaying.
I know.
Good.
Portimonense actually they pushed Benfica back, and then Benfica scored the 2-0 in minute 33, and then it gave the sensation that Benfica was dominating the first half, but not even the first half they were not dominating. There's a total disconnection between defense, midfield, and the offensive line. When you don't trust your goalie, your defense is not gelling. Your defense will be struggling, and that's what happened on this game. You could see clearly that your defense doesn't trust the Sivlar. And then when that's the case, you will make mistakes. And the second half, I don't know why Benfica played a low block and let Portimonense basically control the game when they know it's a very dangerous team. They know how to play football. Portimonense is a very good team. And then, marcaram 2-1, and not too far, and then they got the 2-2. And when it's a 2-0, it's a very, very dangerous result. Because if the other team scores the 2-1, that's it. Now you're in limbo, and that's what happened.
But we were in limbo for 40 minutes or something like that. I mean, not 40 minutes, but 30 odd minutes. So
in the second half, it was all Portimonense. Even at the end, when I was expecting,
I know, yeah, Benfica pushed, they didn't do anything.
They didn't do. Portimonense was in total control. But one thing has to be said. And what's going on in Portugal and putting so much tension and stress on the referees, it's basically making the referees be more attentive to plays. And, and to all fairness, Benfica, they sold the players and they never replaced them with quality players. It's not the same team as last year. And they're not getting as many calls as they used to from last year. So it's a combination of both. It's lack of good quality players. You have a shitty team. I hate to say it. You can sugarcoat it. You can say, oh, yeah, we have a great team. You don't have a great team. Your center backs suck. The only good one is Ruben Diaz. That's the only one I would want on my team.
I agree, though. You sound like a guy going into the Christmas break with a fucking top of the table.
Hey,
whatever.
Listen,
go on.
And the only striker I would want from your team is Jonas.
Are you sure? Because every other sporting on my Twitter says he's a diver, and you want him? You're weird, Steph.
Well, if he gets me penalty kicks from diving like he does at Benfica, I want him, of course. I'll even buy him the Speedos. Mas olha. I would want Jonas and Ruben Diaz. Mas rest pode ficar com todos eles. Benfica needs to revamp. They need a new president, a new administration, and a new team. What you have going on at Benfica now, it's all corruption. The president, the administration. If I was a Benfiquista, I would kick him out of my club and restart all over again. You lost all the credibility. Now you looked upon as a corrupt team because of Felipe Vieira and because of the administration. O menos culpado disto tudo, acredito ou não, é o Rui Vitória, que não tem culpa nenhuma. They sold all the quality players, and now you have a shitty team. Now you're stuck with it.
Okay, I'm just going to add to what you were saying by going to Timo, because I did read this tweet and I felt it was relevant. He also started by calling it unpopular opinion alert. And he said, while I understand and agree that Rui Vitória is not a tactician and doesn't know how to adjust his team during the match, the players outside of a few don't seem to be playing to their potential either. I put more blame on those players than Vieira.
It's a lot of stress. You don't think this whole email situation affects the players too and their families? It does.
Oh, for sure it
does. It's a lot of stress on the players and their families. They're afraid of their own safety and security because your president doesn't want to control no-name boys and young vermelhos. You guys don't think it's a problem? It's actually a big problem for Benfica.
Of course it's a problem, querido. Don't say we don't. If not everybody, it's fine, but not all of us.
These guys are a bunch of criminals. They don't represent the vast majority of Benfica. These people he's trying to protect. I have no clue why the vast majority doesn't see that no-name boys and Diabo Vermelhos. It's a cancer for Benfica. It's a real cancer. They should not be allowed in the installations because they're not legal clocks. They're not allowed to be there, but they let them. They buy them tickets. They shouldn't buy them tickets. I know Marianne on the last podcast said, "Oh, qual é a diferença?" The difference is they're not allowed to be in your installations. They're not allowed to be given perks. They're not allowed to have criminals in the clocks. And that's what's going on with Benfica. If you guys want to regain and you want to be proud Benfiquista, walk on the streets with heads up, you have to kick out Luís Filipe Vieira and administração. Believe me, they are corrupted, and they need to be out of Benfica to regain your credibility and to regain, to save your face. Senão, olha, vocês vão ser bom da festa. We always going to make fun of you guys, and because...
Well, you're going to do that anyway.
No, I usually don't, but I actually feel sorry for you guys, because the more benfiquistas insist in apoiar o Filipe Vieira, faz-me rir. Why do you want to apoiar a corrupt president, which is more than proven? If you say, oh, nothing is proven, but why is it coming out every week now?
No, but you know how I feel. I'm Rui Vitória and I'm out. You know that.
Yeah. You know my opinion on this as well. I've been dwelling on it for over, 2-3 podcasts. So, and I don't know. I kind of want to bring Timo in and have him discuss that with you. But anyway, Bruno, do you want to say anything about this Portimonense game?
Grande resultado pelo Portimonense.
Não vai valer nada, mas pronto.
Maybe. I mean, listen. If Braga and Setúbal draw, it's going to come down to the last match day.
Ugh. Yeah. I hate these types of games when it depends on this and this and this.
But it's probably going to depend on us to score like 5,000 goals, which is why I'd rather just go out now than to have to wait another week.
You got 2 points. Portimonense only got 1 point, right?
Yeah.
Asks you.
And Braga only got 1 point, but they're down a game, so they'll have 2 points. And Setúbal will have
four.
Have 4.
If they tie.
They have 3 points now, Setúbal.
Yeah, if they tie.
Setúbal have 3, but if they tie, they'll have 4.
4. And Braga 2, Benfica 2, Portimonense 1.
Well, o Benfica think
it's going to come down in the last match then.
O Benfica think he's got a Setúbal. They have to.
Yeah, but I'm not scared. Benfica beats Setúbal. All right, okay. All right, moving on though. Do they need anything else though? What's the tiebreaker? That's what's worrying.
Well, no. You know what's the problem now with Benfica? It's the same problem as Sporting. 4 days later, we play each other.
That's and that's a big game because
but Sporting has the advantage because Sporting is already. Who do they play?
Belenenses in Belém.
And how much they got 4 points, right?
Rotating players. You can't rotate your entire squad.
We have 4 points now, exactly. And me personally, as a Sportingista, the game against Belenenses, I would still you still have to use a few titulares because there's certain rules in the Taça da Liga. You can just go with a B team. They
Right. You have to use 5 starters, I think, right? Or 6?
5 or 6. They have to garantir o espetáculo. It's not the way we think it is. So o Sporting will have to do a rotation, thinking about, for example, Bas Dost, leave him on the bench, or some key players like Fábio Coentrão and stuff like that. But the most important game for me is against Benfica no Estádio da Luz. I don't care if we lose against Belenenses. Of course, I want to win, and Benfica should be thinking the same way. Who cares about Setúbal? I want to win against Sporting.
Yeah, all right. Question though, that I'm lost now. I completely lost track of where we were at.
The question is, Benfica only has 2 points, so they have to win.
Oh, right. I was asking what we needed to do to go through. Right, but if Braga wins, let's say they tie, right, yeah. and then Benfica and Braga both win, what's the tiebreaker though? Does Braga have the advantage on the tiebreaker? That's why I don't even really want to go into it with a mathematical chance.
They tied away.
No, that's not how they do it. I think they go by youngest team.
They have a bunch of
bullshit.
No, hold on a second. It goes by a bunch of different.
What the hell?
It goes by I think it's tiebreaker first, and then it's like no sé qué, and it's goals favor, goals against, and then
I think really one of the last tiebreakers. But tiebreaker isn't fair because, I mean, head-to-head. Never mind. I was thinking about head-to-head because head-to-head isn't fair because you only play one game, and if you're the team that ends up going away and you snatch a draw, they can't give you the advantage because that isn't fair because the other team didn't play your,
Okay, let me put it this way. Se Setúbal ganhar sexta-feira against Braga,
we're out.
It's over.
Benfica is done. Yeah.
Pronto, fica assim já está.
Okay.
I don't really care. I don't really care, to be honest. If there's a good chance we'll go through, then let them tie. If our chance of going through is minimal, then just I'd rather be out now than to have to wait a week to be out. All right. Anyway, so I think we got to move on real quick. And if Steph wants to say anything about his precious Sporting. The 6-0.
My precious Sporting, they had a dominating game, winning 6-0. Nobody got a red card. We didn't have any penalty kicks. But we did play.
Should you have gotten any?
No.
Okay, there you go.
And we played against the second division team, which is they're not doing that well. But nevertheless, we did what we were supposed to. We won 6-0, and that's it. Nothing much.
Good plays, good goals too.
Beautiful goals.
Football. They will need football. Yeah, that was good.
Sporting is playing a high quality football at the proper time.
That's why I don't. That's why I expected he could beat Sporting. That's my logic.
I know. You're speaking the truth. The team that's playing shitty usually wins. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that with Porto almost beating Sporting. Anyway, not to take offense to Porto, but I was really pegging Sporting to win that game. That's why I bring it up. Anyway, I don't know if you guys want to talk about anything else before.
But it doesn't apply. The Porto and Sporting, that doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to that rivalry. What Steph is referring to is the team that's usually playing the worst in a Sporting Benfica
Porto
match.
Benfica.
Is the one that,
yeah.
No. It's more for Sporting and Benfica. The team that usually is playing the worst is the one that usually wins.
E para já não é clássico, é derby.
Yeah. It's a derby. It's a derby.
Olha, não.
Anyway.
Derby.
Vocês não vão discutir isto, não?
Aprende que no duro sempre, okay?
Oh, meu Deus. All right. So listen up, fellas. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to talk.
Yeah. I wanna give the predictions of
oh God, no.
Benfica, Sporting, and the Porto quem, Bruno?
Who the fuck did Porto play for the league?
No, it was for the league.
Sim.
For the league. For the league.
January.
We play at Feirense.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So let's talk about predictions.
All right,
Bruno, predictions for Feirense Football Club Sport do Porto.
You're so bad.
Claro. Tens de ter bocadinho mais calma com isso.
Why do you always have to say so much? Could you just say a score? Could you just say 1-0, 2-0? No, it's we've got to go into this history. I'm going to open the Bible. Let's read some books. No, goddamn, just say your damn numbers.
Okay.
I think it's going to be.
I think
I think Porto will win.
I'm sorry. Rude,
Go ahead.
Assim ainda está com
I'm gonna kill you.
Tá,
Don't
ainda
say
tem-
anything. Just say your
Yeah.
scores.
Ainda fala, pô.
2-0.
Okay.
Porto ganha 2-0.
There it is.
Ok, Cíntia, go next, Cíntia.
I'm actually gonna mimic him. 2-0 for
She's
freaking
killing me.
Porto.
She's killing
God
me.
damn it.
Okay, Peter.
I need this Cynthia every week. 1-1.
1-1? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 3-2 for Feliz.
Jesus.
Hey, there it is. Feiras.
Feliz, Vila do Feira. That's from my hometown, Aveiro.
That's where I was just this Sunday when I was telling that I was going home and I didn't watch the Sporting game because I was there with the Feira. But
No, it's and there's a reason why. It's nothing. Of course, Porto has the higher percentage to win the game, but it's a smaller pitch. But it's actually they play agreed with a lot of aggressividad. So I think they'll be able to give Porto actually a good game. So that's
a
why
fair fight.
a fair fight. Yeah. So now let's talk Benfica Sporting Clube de Portugal. Bruno, tu prognóstico.
I'm gonna go, and I think it's gonna be 2-2.
Hey. No, I don't like that.
2-2 it is.
Yeah. Cynthia.
No, I want like 3-1 for Benfica.
Oh, claro.
She's thinking with the heart.
But hold on a second. Is it what you want, or was it what you predicted?
Yeah.
I predict
Which one,
3-1. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, Peter, pumpkin eater, 2.
Remember last year? Same scoreline as last year.
Remind me.
2-1 Benfica.
2-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you not? Oh my God.
I'm gonna say 3-1 Sporting.
Hey! That's my scoreline.
I thought he was gonna say 3-0, to be honest with you.
Ouve lá, Cíntia, tu não acabaste de dizer 3-1 para o Benfica?
I know.
That's
I
exactly
just
what she said. She just said you said the same scoreline, but for the wrong
I
people.
just said you copied me, but changed the people. How sick are you, buddy? You gotta go take a nap.
You gotta
You
take
gotta
one
get
too.
tucked
You
in.
gotta
Steph
take
is
one
so
too.
sick.
You're crazy.
I told you guys I had my blood taken, and then stupid ass Benfica didn't help my damn mood, did they? No.
Hey,
calm down, Cynthia.
but it helped my mood.
Calm down.
It didn't help mine, but
And then all my Benfica friends on Twitter, all of them, not all of them, but like 99% are like Rui out, and I'm like, I love Rui. Leave Rui alone.
It's not Rui. It's not Rui. It's Luís Filipe Vieira e a administração corrupta.
Don't let him think that. It's not Luís Vieira. Don't think that.
It is. It is.
I know. I'm just telling you what Benfica Twitter is. Benfica Twitter is retarded.
Claro que tem que defender Luís Filipe Vieira. But let's be honest. You cannot make an Hamlet without eggs.
Everybody's
without eggs.
Well,
maybe you can.
No, you can't. I mean,
do you remember that? That's like the best thing ever.
You sold your best players and you replaced them with shitty ones. What do you expect?
Basically, didn't even replace anyone.
Yes, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
You basically just brought up guys that were in your squad already. Anyway.
Estavam a contar com os padres, mas não resultou este ano.
Pronto.
Well, we'll see how Sporting plays against it.
We might lose against Benfica because I agree with Peter. I agree with Peter. The team,
thank you.
Derby, clássico e de solas jogo de tripla. So the team that's not playing as well, usually they win. I agree with Peter.
Carrega Benfica. All right, so we're gonna be back in 2 weeks. So no podcast this next week. So...
No, it's Christmas. Go hang out with your families.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everybody.
I'm talking to our listeners right now. You go hang out with the families.
Yeah, most of my family, they come to my house, and it'll be mostly Benfiquistas, believe it or not.
Oh, that's gonna be really good for you, Steph.
Yes, right. The invasion starts early.
Anyway, we're gonna be back, in 2 weeks' time on a Thursday. On a Thursday, people.
4th. Yep.
Exactly. It's going to be a mixed podcast between SCP Updates UK and Tiki Taka Pod. So it's going
And
to
the
be...
Benfica pod too.
I mean, yeah, and the Benfica Pod with Brian.
What does
So
Brian always say? Breaking news, guys. Breaking news.
Did you see his video on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked it.
He's funny.
I didn't. I got to see it. Anyway, so thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Steph, obviously, for always coming on. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Enjoy your holidays. Merry Christmas. And Kevin, I didn't forget your question. Did Santa make an appearance? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Bruno's here. What do you think?
Does anybody want to give a ho 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 to? There you go.
I was hoping
Santa's
to
in the
start
house.
coughing in the middle of the hoe.
Santa's in the house.
Exactly.
All right. So that's it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Feliz Natal e Páscoa.
Bom ano.
Boas festas.